Hey everyone, this is Emanuel here. I'm so grateful you're tuning in. And what we're going to talk about today is the Body Code book that just came out. I just picked it up. So, well, I didn't really pick it up because, I ordered it from Amazon a long time ago and I was able to get it. And I'm so excited. In fact, when I looked at the first page, this got me so, because this is my life, it's so amazing to see all these charts and how they've changed clients' lives, and it's just kind of cool to see it on paper. It's kind of a cool little intro there. But I want to share with you guys that two different announcements. Actually, yeah, two different announcements. So the first announcement is for those of you who are practitioners, and let's say you want to really, you're diving into the body code. You've probably already read the emotion code. I highly recommend to jump over to our platform, which is called Heal, haveempathyandlove.com. So again, it's haveempathyandlove.com. If you go on there and you sign up, it's completely free. Look for the Heal Book Club. So the Heal Book Club. And in there, we're reading this book starting today. So when you watch this video, I've already started it and I'm going to be making commentary. Now you could go on here on YouTube and go ahead and watch, all these things I'm talking about. Or you can go into the Heal. The reason why it's cooler on Heal is because I'll post it in that group. And in that group, we have over 1,600 different practitioners from all over the world. And they can be writing their commentary too. So it's kind of interesting to see what other modalities are kind of concurring with it, adding their 2 cents. So it's going to be like a wealth of information that's going to come from it. I think we should get a couple of YouTube comments as well, but definitely on Heal, we're going to get a lot of them as well. So definitely go to Heal. Again, it's haveempathyandlove.com. And that's the first announcement. Second announcement is a lot of people have been asking me, do I use other charts outside the body code? And I do. So I also look into the easy entity release is something that I use for those of you who are dealing with a lot of offensive energies. Also, I use emotion code, obviously body code. I also have 12 other charts. So you can't see it behind me, but I have a huge folder here. And basically, if you look at here, it's just tons and tons of charts that I use on top of the body code to see what needs to be done. So there's that. But then also I do group healing as well. So if you go into the haveempathyandlove.com, I'm also doing group healings this week. For those of you who are interested in 7 days of healing, I am doing on abundance and wealth and doubling your income. Now, I've used body code energies to help me out in my journey for wealth. I've had a friend of mine over, I believe he was in Utah at the time, and I was in Vegas. He was doing healing on me all the time. Every Sunday, he used to work on me. And I believe that's why my business took it to the next level. But imagine having multiple modalities working on you on top of the body code, working on you for 7 days straight, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what I'm doing right now. And I've basically seen so many amazing results. I think we have over 125 different testimonials now doing this group healing. So what if you're a practitioner? What if you want to have more clients? What if you want to go out there and help more people? I really feel these 7 days of healing can really help you out. Feel free to, once you join Heal, look for the most recent group and you'll find the abundance ones there. Or I'll leave a link below where you can sign up for that. Okay, enough of announcements. Let's dive into the body code. So first of all, this is a beautiful book. I'm like debating whether I should take off the cover of it because it just looks so nice. But let's start off with, again, I'm not going to read this to you. I'm just going to find what stood out for me. Okay. Okay. So we are on page 3, because that's kind of where the actual body code really starts. It talks about this. It says, rather than being based on yet another pharmaceutical drug or a new surgical approach, these innovative methods take advantage of new understandings of quantum physics and neurobiology and epigenetics, to name a few. Okay, so here's what I want to share with you is that what I've noticed in my 9 years of practice, I'm going to give commentary here. What you'll notice if you're a practitioner or if you're a client, okay, so take it however you want to, but as a practitioner, you will see a lot of clients who have used other modalities and other methods, and maybe they tried Western medicine for a long time. And what I always tell people is that you're only going to do at the level of information that you know, or you're only as intelligent as far as your ignorance goes. And I always compliment people from wherever they're at. So here's something that kind of adds a lot of love to sessions is just I like to compliment people where they're coming from. If they did acupuncture before, I applaud them. If they did like Reiki healing, I applaud them. If they do any type of modality, if they tried Western medication, maybe a little bit of the anxiety pills helped out, I applaud them because that's all they knew at that time. My wife, for example, is a very good example. She used to take anxiety medication because she didn't know about this type of modality. She cut cold turkey once I did her heart wall, which I may or may not recommend. You may want to like kind of see how you are a little bit after. It's kind of like but she felt really good and her anxiety went really, really low. Now we had other things that we needed to work on, but her anxiety went very, very low since I removed her heart wall. Now, here's the beautiful thing is if you're a client and you're meeting with someone, feel free to let them know like, hey, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. And it's just kind of good to have a background of where you came from. And then if you're doing an introduction with a body code practitioner or motion code practitioner, make sure they explain to you what's the whole process, as you're doing it. Because a lot of people, they just get straight to the point, start releasing things. But I like to kind of explain and give a small introduction of what the emotion code is all about. And again, I've been doing this for 9 years. I must have recited the introduction for the emotion code millions and millions of times. And I love doing it because every time I talk about it, I get excited about it. And so, and if you're struggling, if you're like, hey, how do I explain this to my friends? Maybe you're like, I don't know how to share this with my friends. I just say this is an energy healing modality, very similar to Reiki healing or Theta healing, because Reiki healing is actually being accepted by hospitals left and right in North America and other places. So that's already more familiar. They might know that one actually. Or you can say acupuncture or theta healing, but basically it's a wellness modality that removes emotional energies from the body to assist you emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I mean, that's pretty simple. And so I think as long as we keep it very simple, because some people are not into energy medicine like you are, you probably read everything. And the problem is we're spitting out all these amazing technical words and they have no idea what you're talking about. That's why I made 400 videos, is because I was trying to dumb it down and keep it as simple as possible. So anyway, but the point is it starts talking about how there's different, on page 3, different approaches, pharmaceutical drugs, surgical approaches, all these different things. And I like to compliment the client, be like, hey, that's what you knew now. And maybe this was preparing you for the body code. And now you're ready for the body code. So that's something I do. That's one commentary. Page 4, it says, in the last 3 decades of working with people of all ages who are suffering from all kinds of diseases, disorders, and symptoms. So just recently, just so you know, some of you guys might be new to the emotion code, body code, and this is like your first book. Maybe you're reading the body code before you read his emotion code. And that's okay. I would go back and read the emotion code afterwards because it's probably going to explain a little bit about the emotion code first and then go into the body code. But one of the things is that we want to be very careful with saying anything like we cure stuff, we cure diseases, we cure, So you'll probably notice here that he's very careful with saying those words. In fact, if you look at the beginning, it says, unlock your body's ability to heal itself. Those are the most intelligent words in the beginning, kind of a forefront of being very careful with his words. He's doing it right in the beginning. So we don't want to say like, oh, I healed them from depression or I healed them from this. We basically said, I always say this, I removed enough imbalances in the body that the body started healing itself in regards to this symptom. Okay, you guys can all try it with me. Maybe you want to take notes. But it's very important that whether you're a practitioner or you're a client referring people, if you're a client talking to a potential client, like you're telling your uncle, like, hey, my uncle should try this. I know he has depression. You don't want to say this person cured me of depression. You want to say he found some emotional energies inside my body that allowed me to reduce the symptoms of depression. Okay. And so just that's kind of a forewarning in the beginning. So that way you don't get in trouble. The person that listened to you doesn't have these strange expectations. You want to make sure you're speaking properly, right? And one of the things, for example, some people will come to you and they'll say these big words like fibromyalgia, or endometriosis, and sometimes even as a practitioner, I'm kind of intimidated, like, whoa, what does that mean? But really, I want to let you guys know, if you're a client and you're meeting with a practitioner, or you're a practitioner working on a client, all we really need to focus on is these two words. And I always tell these two words to my clients is be a professional, actually 3 words, professional symptom seeker. Professional symptom seeker. Now, just because you have fibromyalgia and someone diagnosed you, just letting you know, there are a lot of doctors out there that do misdiagnose. But I would never tell a client that, but I would just say, hey, where do you have pain? Do you have pain? Fibromyalgia means pain all over the body, but maybe you have specific areas. Now watch this. They say, oh, my left shoulder always hurts. So what do? You write down left shoulder. My mid back kind of feels some pain. Okay, mid back. My low back also doesn't feel good. Okay, low back. And for some reason, my wrist and my thumb don't feel well. And why I'm mentioning these different parts of the body is because that actually might be just one thing in your body that's imbalanced, which is the pancreas. So the pancreas, for example, all those areas could be affected just on the pancreas. So maybe they don't have this thing called fibromyalgia that someone had to put a name on it so that you can get medicated every single month. Maybe they just have a pancreas issue. Could be a lot of things. There could be imbalances with the pancreas. There could be a spiritual, physical disconnection. All that really means is like when the spirit of the pancreas and the physical kind of stick out. And so it's like the spirit of the pancreas should be in the physical, centered in it, but it's not. Then that's called a spiritual physical disconnection of the pancreas, right? And so I think what's really interesting is this: is you want to always make sure that you are always letting people know that, hey, I don't know, let's just find out what's going on. You want to try this with me, like, I don't know, it could be that. Because what'll happen is as people go along, even myself as a client, oh, I probably have this symptom because of this. I probably have this because of this. I don't like to do that to a body code practitioner. I like to say, I have this symptom and I don't know why. And then you go and find it for me, and the body will find it. So just letting you know, don't get intimidated by the big words, fibromyalgia and endometriosis, or all these different words. Just know, if you're the client, just tell your practitioner, yes, they say I have this, then I wouldn't even mention that word anymore. Because when you mention that word, it's almost like you're giving it power. You'll be surprised how powerful your brain is. So just from then on, you never mention the word. Maybe your practitioner knows about it. And then just mention the symptoms. Just say, hey, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have this issue. What if in fibromyalgia, there's 3 other symptoms that you don't mention, but you got labeled as fibromyalgia? Just mention the 3 symptoms that you are dealing with. Okay, that's on page number 4. Let's keep going here. All right, so now we are going to page 6. So it says, if you look at medical errors, it's like the 3rd paragraph. Medical errors in prescription drug misuse or overdose are among the leading causes of death in the United States. Many of the surgeries performed are drastic and unnecessary. The United States spends more on health care as a share of the economy than any other country in the world, yet it has the lowest life expectancy and one of the highest suicide rates among the industrialized nations. Okay, that is a problem. And one of the books you should read that I always recommend people, I don't have it with me. I wish I knew the term of it. Actually, I'm going to do you guys a favor. I'm going to find it. I would look at a book called Lost Connections. And this is a great book to supplement you as you are studying and learning about the emotion code, the body code. Why? Because really, Dr. Brad, I don't think wants to go after big pharma. I don't think that's his mission in life. But it's by Johann Hari. Okay, it's by Johann Hari, Johann Hari, Lost Connections. That, if you really want to get into the history of big pharma and the history of the, what's really happening with prescriptions and how they're giving it away and the testing they do and how to know which medication to give, clinical trials, all that stuff, you would be mentally blown. I think I've read half the book. I'm almost done with it, but it's called Lost Connections by Johann Hari, and that was a very, very powerful one for me to give me even more perspective on, like, there's energy healing, like a very easy tool to help you to release these different things, compared to what? It's the big pharma and their intentions and their motives and their clinical trials and what's going on. I'm not going to call them evil, but what they're doing is they're doing some very sneaky things, some very things that are really, they don't really care for the patient. And there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. So just do your research. You do more research on it, it gets pretty scary on what's really happening. And that's why energy healers are so passionate about this work, is because we found a natural way for us to reset our bodies. So anyway, I wanted to give you guys that commentary on page 6, a recommendation for a book. Okay, let's go to page 7. If you look down there, there's that italicized thing where this lady was angry. Remember, her Dr. Brad helped her out and basically removed this. I think it was a headache, right? Yeah, it was a migraine headache that she's had for years. And she was angry. And Brad kind of explains, not angry at me, just angry at the people, all the medications they were prescribed, all the doctors that were trying to like help her, but not really help her. So she has resentment. And if I were her, I would do what they call an attunement session. If you want to write that down, attunement. What that means is, and I've learned this from Dr. Brad, is that it's a way of saying a statement, then see how much your body believes it. So, for example, I'm a very confident man, and then checking the percentage. Well, 22.9476. Okay, so let's look into what body code energies do I need to release so that I believe it 100%. Okay, now what you could do with this lady, if I was working with her, I would say, I have forgiven all those doctors that attempted to only band-aid my symptoms of my migraine, and just see how much her body, muscle test it, see how much her body believes. She might say, might be 2%, 7%. Wouldn't it be nice to not only know that you helped her with her migraine, but also to let that go? Like, she may hold on to that resentment the rest of her life. Why let her stay with that? I would have, in my mind, I would have said, hey, let's get you so that you don't feel this anger anymore. That if we were to ever bring up the subject, your body's completely healed from that. That's page number 7. Okay, page number 8. The heroic measures. And just read that paragraph. Obviously, you're reading with me, but on page 8, it talks about how the traditional approach to medicine matured on the battlefield in the Civil War. And it talks about how, like, if your leg gets taken off, of course you want to use heroic measures. But a lot of people are doing these very extreme surgeries, these very extreme dramatic interventions is what Dr. Brad calls it. And the problem with it is that it was unnecessary, because if you really look at the history of medical history, it's the money that you can make from removing something. It's like a quick dollar for a doctor. So they love taking out. Hey, let's take out your kidneys. Hey, let's take out your tonsils. Hey, And in my mind, all I'm thinking is, wait, God put it there for a reason. So why are you taking it out, right? And of course, there might be issues with it. So I'm not denying the fact there might be issues with it. But could it be fixed or helped out or aided in a different way than just removing it, right? It's almost like if you had a bad son, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to try to find a way to heal him, take him to a psychologist or take him, whatever, just take him to a body code practitioner. What am I thinking? Take him to a body code practitioner or take him to, meditation or just different things, theta healing, just different things to assist him. I'm not going to just throw him away. And that's kind of what we're doing with the medical field is let's just throw away organs, like no big deal. I have a doctor that his name is Scott Werner, and I interviewed him, and it's amazing. He told me, he said that the hospital was suing him. They were going after him because he wasn't doing enough C-sections when he knew they didn't need it, and he was delivering babies normally, and his numbers were so low that the hospital, which I won't mention the hospital's name, was going after him, and they wanted to close his office down and basically remove his profession. So that's the type of, again, probably Lost Connections goes more into that. But you want to know, like, if you have a client that's my liver, they're saying it's really bad, whatever, obviously let them follow their medical advice and what the doctors are doing. But I would work on it and say, hey, let's save that liver. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can save the heart. And I've had a few people that I've worked with where they were about to have a heart surgery. I worked on it, even via email session, and they had COVID. 2 days later, they were outside the hospital and they found an x-ray of the heart and there was nothing wrong with the heart at all. Isn't that amazing? And they, to this day, they're like, Emanuel saved my life. I thought I was going to die in the hospital of COVID. And my heart somehow fixed itself. They said there was like a hole in the valve, and all of a sudden it's not there anymore. It like regenerated. So it's amazing what the body code could do, and you don't want to just agree with the whole, yeah, let's just get rid of it. The last thing I want to share with you before we end here is on page 9. It talks about a different future, and it talks about somebody who was had a vaccine done to them and how it really affected them. It gave them multiple symptoms: paranoia, brain fog. Um, she later had lupus, fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis. And so these things, I've also had, my dad also was vaccinated. And what's wrong with that is that they can have multiple symptoms because there's a lot of heavy metals in it. You know, in the body code, it talks about heavy metals, adjuvants, different things like that. And these toxins can affect different parts of your body. And heavy metals can't just be naturally detoxed. You need to take something like an oral correlation, which I do have. If you have any questions about that, you can email me at compasshealingcenter@gmail.com. I use a thing called TRS, but it's an oral correlation to remove those toxins from your body, and heavy metals specifically. And what's interesting is my dad called me and said, I took the vaccination 6 days ago. And my dad's an oncologist, by the way. And he called me kind of worried, saying, I'm not doing well. I'm talking like I'm drunk and I'm very dizzy. And I've worked on him in a different part of his brain where it has to deal with nausea and kind of like his motion were a little bit off, but then 2 parts of his brain weren't doing well. And it was heavy metals. It literally says like prions and heavy metals and things like that. So I removed it, and then I recommended some oral chelation. Within 2 weeks, he was back to normal again. But for a few days, he was not doing well. He was stumbling all over the place. He was scared to drive. So that's a vaccine injury, basically. And you probably have some clients that will have some of these. If you want to and heal, we have these different discussion areas where you can talk about certain things. I guarantee you probably it's hard to find a Facebook group that's talking about vaccine injuries where it doesn't get flagged all the time, and your Facebook will get flagged. So on our platform, if you go into topics, if you sign in and go into topics, there's a vaccine injury group. And if you want to go and talk about what's helped with you, what's helped with your clients, you can speak freely. No one will ever, ever, ever delete your post. So I wanted total freedom of speech for holistic practitioners in our little platform there, Heal. And so you guys have that as well. So anyway, that's the commentary I want to share with you guys today. Tomorrow I'm going to read pages 10 to 20. I'm going to add my little commentary. Just follow along and go ahead and comment below what's your favorite paragraph that you got from it. What's, maybe you have a wellness hack or a tip. You can go ahead and post it below. If you're on Heal especially, I'm posting it on here. Comment below what you got out of page 1 through 10. And I look forward to hearing your feedback and responding to you guys. And let's just have a community of people just talking about what was your favorite part, or which tip did you like that I made a video about, or anything like that. Let's just talk a lot, learn a lot from each other. And I look forward to doing this tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.